Hello and welcome to another episode of Practical IT. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Simple NFS, which is a graphical NFS configuration utility for Linux. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to use two Ubuntu 1804 desktop virtual machines. As you can see here on your screen, one is going to be set up as a server, one is going to be set up as a client, and we're going to share some files between them. So let's go ahead and get these started up and we will walk through the process. So I've walked through this once already and I have restored to a previous snapshot to undo the changes I made. This is very useful during testing. So we will start off the process on this first machine and we will set this up as the server. So just to give a little update while we're waiting, we are over 310 subscribers and we still got a few weeks left in December. I'm hoping we might be able to get up near the 350 subscriber mark in the time we've got left. Thank you to all of you for watching and supporting me throughout the last year and 2/3, I guess, that I've been making these videos. I do have some interesting and hopefully you'll find them exciting plans for 2019, and the way some of the content will change a little bit and hopefully change for the better and keep things coming out. I'm hoping to do more several part series over the course of 2019 and show how that we can make the different projects covered in the different videos, make them work with each other in several of those cases. All right, we are back, and so we are going to log into this first machine. Alright, so here we are on our desktop. The first thing we need to do is open up a browser and we're going to download our deb file from GitHub. This is not currently in the repository, so this is one of the steps from the article that I read on the Simple NFS utility, and this will get us moving while we're waiting for the other machine to finish starting up. And our address that we need to go to is https github.com Felipe or Felipe 734 / simple.nfs.gui. And we are going to come down to the bottom of the page and click the download now button. And we are going to save that. And it's a pretty small file, so we have got that done already. So, close our browser. Maybe. bitching because there's two tabs open. All right, let's open up a terminal window. And I will blow up the size of the text so everybody can read that, even if you're watching it on a big old TV in your living room. First thing we want to do here is add a repository. So sudo add apt repository ppa gambus team / gambus3. And then we're going to update. And we'll clear our screen. All right. So we're going to go ahead and install our downloaded deb file. So sudo vpackage-i downloads setup Simple NFS GUI semicolon. So we're going to run another command right afterwards. Sudo apt get install -fy. And this will get all of the other dependencies installed for us as well. All right. And let's find out what our IP address is. 156. All right, so now we need to run the utility as root. So we need to use sudo -h simple NFS GUI. And this brings us up with our wizard. This is going to be our server machine. So we'll select server and click next. Client is going to be, click this and get our drop down populated. Okay, we're going to have to hold off on that for just a couple moments because it is not showing our client machine yet. We are going to move this off screen. So let's check and see if it's not responding again. We'll quit that. It should quit that process. And it'll complain, and then we'll fire this up again, and it should do what we want. So while we're doing that, and we're waiting again, all this utility is really doing is modifying the configuration files and triggering a script in the background to install the NFS kernel server on this server machine. So the configuration files in question, and we'll just use cat on the current versions of them, would be cat, and would do etc host.allow And again, you can see this has nothing in it right now. It'll also modify host deny, which again is not populated at the moment. And then also we will have exports, which is not even existing at the current moment. So those are our three main files on the server. On the client side, as we'll see it when we go through that process, on the client side, you're also going to have a new entry added to your FS tab that will allow that remote resource to be mounted on boot. So let's see, we are still waiting for this to start up, and hopefully this will be along here shortly. Okay, we're back again. I'm on the second virtual machine, and again we need to do the same process. So sudo add apt repository ppa Gambus team / Gambus 3-y sudo apt get update. And we'll let this run. And this is really just a duplication of the last machine up to this point. Once we get the GUI utility running, we'll go back to the first machine. We should be able to get that drop down to populate, and then get this show moving in a forward direction. Okay, our next command, sudo dpackage-i downloads and semicolon sudo apt get install-fy, and that'll run, and in just a moment or two that'll be ready to go as well. Okay, so let's find out our IP address first. We are at 157, which I expected. So now we need to do sudo -h Simple NFS GUI and hit return, and that pops up our utility. We'll go ahead and minimize the terminal window. Okay, so at this point we are going to jump back on our server machine as far as the NFS install is concerned. And so we jump back into our utility. If we look at our list here again, let's make it repopulate. And it still doesn't show the machine we want. So we're going to quit. We'll rerun it from the other tab. And we are going to have this one act as a server, and click next, populate. And so 157 is our client machine. We are going to share. /home /demo/public, and we click set this machine as server and say yes. And as you can see in the background here, that is actually going through and installing the extra packages that are needed for NFS and doing the configuration work so we don't have to hand edit configuration files. And yes, I understand what some of you die-hard Linux and Unix people are going to say, but this is not the Unix way. Well, I won't argue with you, but I will simply say that for people that are new to Linux, this is a good utility for them to use if they are just wanting to test out NFS file sharing and they don't need to worry about sharing with Windows machines. This can be useful if you are wanting to learn about security and you're doing Wireshark scans and captures. This is useful if you want to do security testing and see what kind of results you get running against servers running NFS. Okay, so this did prompt us. It wants us to restart. So we will go ahead and tell this to restart. And while that's restarting, we will go to the other machine. This one is going to be our client. We'll say next. Select the server, which that probably won't come up in our list yet because it's restarting. And this is where I could use with some catchy music to go in the background while we're waiting. Okay, that did not pick it up because the other one's still rebooting. So we will quit, wait for other one to finish starting up again. Alright, our server machine has started back up. We're going to go ahead and run the client piece. This is going to be our client. Next, populate our drop down. Ping over. 156 is our server. The path on the server is home demo public. And we're going to call this demo pub. Set this machine as client. Yes. And again, that's going to go through and download the pieces that we need to get this moving. And we'll have to trigger a reboot after this is done. Okay, we'll go ahead and quit that. And we'll go ahead and restart this machine. Restart. And while we're doing that, we'll jump over to this machine here. Open up a terminal window. And we can do etc host allow, and the line right here, NFS daemon 172.16.74.157, so that's this machine. or the, excuse me, that's the client machine. We can also look at deny, and exports. And as you can see, it's using the NFS version 4 format for this. What we're going to see on the other machine once that finishes its startup process is we should be able to have the mount already available for us showing up in the file manager, and we will also take a look at the mount command to see the FS tab entry and look at the other configuration files, and then we will wrap up here momentarily. Alright, so here is our acid test. Open up the file browser or file manager. Demo pub is our folder on the other machine. There's nothing in that at the moment. So from the other machine, we will add some files with the touch command. So we've got 3 empty files, and if we come over here and refresh that, we now have our files. So we were going to look at the changes made here. So this is the entry in the FS tab. So it shows the IP address of the machine acting as a server with a colon, /home/demo/public, and it tells us where it's mounting it on the local machine. It's mounted at /media/demopub. Type is NFS4 for the file system type. And it tells us other things like read-write status, no SUID, no dev, etc. So this gets us through, in a fairly easy fashion, the basic setup of NFS on 2 Linux or Unix machines and a minimum working demo setup. What you can do from here is you can look at modifying some of these options. You can cross-reference with the documentation for NFS and see what each of the options mean and what other settings may be more appropriate for your network and your individual machine configuration. This has probably been my most in-depth exploration of NFS that I've done myself. I've read about it over the years, but this is the first time I've really taken a little bit more of a deep dive into it to see how it really operates. And honestly, it's really not that difficult. I can foresee in 2019 revisiting this and doing it strictly manually from the command line on both sides, and basically reproducing what we've got available to us right now. that will be one of the videos that will come out sometime in 2019. A third NFS video that I can foresee doing would be using Ansible, because I'm in the planning stages of some Ansible videos. Using Ansible to do the configuration and the installation and configuration remotely from a single machine. This would be an interesting exercise, and really it will reflect the direction of where things are headed these days. And that being on reproducible configuration scripting. On that note, this is Jeremy. I'm going to sign out now. You've been watching another Practical IT video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and click the bell icon for notifications. If you have some constructive criticism, please leave it down in the comment section. If you have the need to sing my praises that I've solved a problem, you can leave that down there as well. Again, I thank you for watching. Have a great day.